So you want to do the Federspiel by Jamek?
Let's do Federspiel and then the Pickler and then this John Creme.
So, boy, I did some videos of my little visit to Jamek, and I think they're up on our website. So, where do I start? I had read about the wines. I had never tasted them. I don't believe I have to.
Me neither. What you're saying? We've never tasted them either. This is the
and
first
so
taste for us.
the fellow who was making the wine is the son-in-law of Jamek. He's, I think, 44. He was a doctor, fully trained medical doctor, and none of the family wanted to take over the estate. So he thought about it for about 4 years, and then he went to winemaking school for 4 years.
I love that.
He became a winemaker, and he's got 3 kids. Oh my God. I mean, a very, very nice man. They have, in Austria, along the Wachau, they have restaurants, and they have little hotels, and the winery. So they offered me a place to stay, but unfortunately I had accommodations. And they're all dotted along there, so it's beautiful. You can bike along the Danube. And so this label was designed in 1959 and hasn't changed since. Very traditional, large stainless steel. I believe memory serves me correct. A few larger oak barrels, and then he took me up to the Reed. Achleiten vineyard.
And the site.
And here's the really cool thing is, so they have terraces. Yeah. But they have these. They look like, almost, just call it like a headstone, but a hole in the middle of it, and then they put it on the side, and then the vine comes out of the side of the terrace, and then up, and they train it. I'll show you a picture of it on my phone.
Oh, so they're really growing it out of, that's cool.
Never seen that. So and then they can get that, and then another vine on the flat part of the terrace. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Let's talk about maximizing your space. That's
Austria, right?
Yeah.
And the Danube is like this, and there's all these little mezzo sites. Holy smoke! And of course, I can't pronounce them, so I'm not going to even try. Let's taste this. So this is Federspiel 2015 Gruner Veltliner.
Yeah.
Guys, want to talk about Federspiel?
Yeah, I mean, I think this, in the context of this producer, Josef Janek, I kind of feel that this is an important thing to discuss, because he was seen as the godfather of the movement in the 80s in Austria to revitalize the idea of Austria as a top quality wine producer, and particularly I think the philosophy that probably resonates today with a lot of drinkers and sommeliers is the fact that his main ethos was minimal intervention wines of place.
Yep.
And he got together with a number of other key Wachau producers to create a system of classification, Steinfeder, Federspiel, and Schmaragd.
Schmaragd, yep. With the little lizard on there.
Yeah, yep. which holds still today.
It does, yeah.
And those are really important when you're talking about the style of the wine, understanding the differences between those 3 classifications and how they can influence the weight, the texture, the complexity, and you're going up in terms of quality level.
Alcohol.
It's based on alcohol.
Yeah.
It's based on ripeness, but I mean, you're not going to classify your top level bottling that has significant complexity and weight as a Federspiel. No. If it classifies as a Schmaragd, it's going to be Schmaragd.
Exactly, and you have to look. There's this little lizard.
Yeah, that's the little green emerald lizard. That's Schmaragd.
The Schmaragd. That's what you want to look for. Let's go through this wine. Let me give your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think one of the key things about Federspiel is not a very rich wine. This wine is 12.5%. I'm just seeing that on the label. 12.5% alcohol, but it's got great concentration, great kind of steely kind of backbone to it.
Good weight.
Weight, but also the fact that that weight comes in without like high alcohol, so it's not boozy.
Right. This is what, just so I don't want to digress. This is what I'd like to see in BC a little bit more.
Yeah, well.
But that's another topic.
Yeah.
Fresh, clean, good weight. This wine will age 10, 12 years.
Yeah, and that's another thing that Sean and I were discussing, that perhaps is something else that people don't realize about Austrian wine, is the great aging potential. The wine that we're actually drinking is a Brunner Veltliner. It's the most widely planted grape in Austria. It is almost always crafted in a dry style, and a wine like this, you're really thinking top Premier Cru Chablis, or even Grand Cru Chablis.
Well, that's the thing, is that you're talking about a top producer, you're talking about a top vineyard in a great vintage, and you take those things to any other major wine region in the world, and these wines are hundreds of dollars, and this is
exactly, you know, how do I get for, I don't know what is it, 35 bucks, whatever. You know, first of all, Chablis is twice the price. Grand Cru Chablis or Premier Cru Chablis is twice the price of this. Handmade by a family, limited production, and so I remember years ago, you guys weren't you weren't here, but a guy called Thierry Thies came to Vancouver, and he is kind of the godfather of Austrian wines in the United States. And he did a big seminar. It was like a 4-hour seminar. I'm going, am I going to stand still for 4 hours?
Listen to Terry.
This guy's amazing. We had, I have to go back to my notes, a 78 Gruner, and it tasted like Puligny Montrachet, white Burgundy, without the pre-mox, without the oxidization. Wow. So I can comfortably say you can buy any of these whites, you can store them or forget about them for 20 years and come back, and you're going to go, wow, what a great wine. They're just fabulous. So for 35 bucks, I think it's great. Let's move on. Marquis, can I just skip up for me? Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go
to
all right, Rudy Pickler. So there's two Picklers. There's Rudy Pickler and there's the FX Pickler. We are tasting.
They're not related.
They're not related
at all. We're like the Smiths of Austria.
Yeah. We're tasting FX Pickler.
FX Pickler.
Yeah, so this is their Urgestein Terrassen, which means terraces. And this is a Schmaragd, so we've gone up in a level of quality or level of ripeness. So we're going from a Federspiel to a Schmaragd Gruner.
And I think even though that this is Schmaragd, which is the top level of ripeness, as Sean said, it's still only 13.5% alcohol on the label. This is.
So I get a much more linear, not as fat as the Jamek, much more linear, focused, much more focused Gruner.
And that could be coming from the site as well. I mean, Marquis being the steepest and the most exposed, the most renowned site. Urgestein is a great site in the Wachau, but it doesn't get quite as ripe as Auckland does. So yeah, more linear, fresher, brighter. It's definitely
literally, and here's what Sean said about it. You can, Danube, the road is like this, the mountain. You can go around the mountain this way and this way. Well, we ripen 10 days up, literally half a kilometer up, but because the mountains and the rivers like this, it may ripen 10 days later. They may, little, and each site, each little parcel is different. It actually makes Burgundy look easy.
I think the other important thing to touch on with particularly with these two wines that we just tasted is their gastronomic potential. Sean, you're of course working with Gruner, some Gruner upload vintages.
Yep, absolutely. I've got a Schmaragd Gruner. I've got a more entry level Gruner as well from a different producer. Wow. And I mean, they're so versatile. Just you can do everything from light crisp salads and green vegetables. You could do smoked meats. You can do cold cuts, cheeses, pork, chicken. Especially once you get into the richer styles. They are probably, I think, the most versatile food and wine pairing wine aside from sparkling wine.
In the world.
In the world.
There's no question.
100% agree. Yeah. And this wine to me has this great texture. It's very much about texture.
It's so good. I mean, wow. This, and again, Grand Cru Chablis. Yeah, I think this is maybe, I don't know, 50, 60. I'm not sure. 56 bucks. It would be over 60 with taxes. Yes, it's expensive, but compared to what you get for Burgundy, California, even some stuff in Washington State, high-end Australia, this is a relative bargain.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, boy, that's good. I could drink a bottle of that easily. Okay, we're going to move on to the last wine. This is I love this guy. So cool.
So the story on this is actually probably the most fascinating. It's Weingut Krems, and Krems from this village of Krems. The winery was actually gifted to the city in order to raise money for the hospital in Krems. So it's still producing wine for that purpose. They have over 500 years of winemaking history in Krems, and they are, like the bottle says, exceptional.
Here's one thing I wanted to talk about, just about Austria. They have, families have been making wine, like Solomon as an example, since the 1700s. It's been within the family.
At least.
And so they have a rich, rich history of winemaking tradition. Not only that, but they're exceedingly well educated. Their scholastic, their enology school is second to none. They're very, very, I mean, it's, Austrian, right?
Well, and speaking of schooling too, I mean, Vikram, my boss, Vikram Vij, went to hospitality management school in Austria. He moved from India to Austria to go to school. He's friends with a number of great Austrian producers, houses. Vij's was one of the first restaurants to bring in Gruner Veltliner. We poured Gruner Veltliner by the glass for 10 years when the market was basically with nothing. There was nothing here. Schloss Gogelsberg is a good friend of Vikram's, and that was what we had for many, many, many years. And so he speaks fluent German too, which is always weird to see him go to a table and talk German to German guests that come in.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
There's that kind of connection with the restaurant and with Austria as well, which is always very exciting.
If you look, if you think we think of, okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously. But if you look at what Austria has given the world, culturally, from music to philosophy, Niki Lauda, race car driver, Formula One.
Love it.
Like one of the on top, at the same level as Michael Schumacher. They've given, for such a small little country, they've given the world a lot. And
Lederhosen.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't suggest we had to wear the.
No, we didn't have to do that. But they're I really for such a small. Oh, I also wanted to say that I think they have 8,000 farms, wine farms and farms in general in Austria, and about 80% of them are either organic or biodynamic. And in the United States, 2% of the farms are. And they're all family held. It's a huge, for me it's huge. So that's another kind of selling point or talking point of these wines. So okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about the applicability with food and how different these wines are and how most Austrian whites are dry. This one is not.
No.
This is definitely not a dry wine. It has around 30 grams per liter of residual sugar. It is more akin to like a German Spätlese in terms of ripeness and style. Still very much focused on acidity and freshness, but has that additional weight and complexity.
I think that it's worth adding at that point that this is, although it's not dry, this is not a sweet wine, and in actual fact this is just into the off-dry. It carries that level of sugar really gracefully. There's a great balance of minerality and acid. With the sugar in this wine, it's exceptional.
It is. It's literally, they're saying it on the bottle, and they're confirming it for you.
Exception, and there's only 1,000 bottles made of it. But Fred, the winemakers, I've known him for 10, 12 years, and he likes, we do a couple orders a year, a couple hundred cases, and he likes what we do. So we kind of get some of the, because I'm so small.
You get
I get some of the stuff in.
Yeah, you've got three cases of this, and there's only what, 100 cases or
something like that. Oh, what's the price on? I don't even remember.
That one was in the 50 range
for,
again, handcrafted, 100 cases.
And one of the things, obviously, that you can note on this label is it tells you it's Erster Lager on the top, which is an indication of the
Premier Cru. It's their Grand Cru.
It's
so you see
of vineyard classification.
The term reed, and That just means vineyard. So that's a classified site, and this is from Grill and Pars, which is, yeah, it's in Ursulog. It's a first-class site in the Kremstahl region of Austria.
So,
Beautiful.
in conclusion, I have actually something exciting to tell you two guys, and October 13th, Willie Klinger, you don't know who he is.
The name.
Willie Klinger used to be,
Yes.
he used to be the export sales manager for Gaia. That's when I first met him 20 odd years ago. He's coming to Vancouver. We're doing a master class.
Awesome.
4 songs, of course free, so I'm going to be touching you on that. And then a consumer tasting.
Cool.
So this is the man that has taken Austrian wines over the last 20 years around the world. Chicago, London, New York, Melbourne, and because I've known him for so long, and my last order was so big, it's taken us about a year to get him here because they work in advance. He's coming here. It's Friday though, sadly, October 13th. It's not the best day, but we're going to do a tasting in the morning, and then one for consumers later on in the evening here at the store.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So we'll keep you guys informed. And he is a fabulous man. He's passionate about Austrian wines. So, guys, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
And I hope to see you guys in the store tasting Austrian wines. Cheers. Thanks for listening.
Cheers.
Cheers.